this is gonna get fun. This is gonna get really fun because you guys are hanging out with the biggest and best, smartest husbands. When you hang out with the biggest and best husbands, like, you get pretty good at stuff and pretty smart, but you get curious and want to find out the answers to a lot of shit. That was a god. That was the story you were hearing. That was about a god, but whoever was telling the story couldn't remember exactly who did or said it. They just heard somebody talking at me in their rights and my answer. So they didn't know if it was like what kind of higher power or who it was. But it was a god. The god was like, I have done nothing but bleed out in here and make myself nothing. I've bled out and made myself nothing. I was like, hey, buddy, look, the permanent record connected to my death, you didn't do anything in my direction for the benefit of my existence as a god. So whatever you were bleeding out about, I hope, it all works out, but it wasn't me. And he was like, no, I've bled out. And I was like, buddy, look at my death. My death is constant, excessive, permanent record of all of existence. There's nothing about you giving a shit about me. And he looked at all the permanent record because everything connected to my existence and the science of existence is on overdone end of the world permanent record. And he was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing. And I was like, yeah, your existence never benefited my death or helped my death or helped my existence or helped my powers. He was like, but all I did was bleed out. And I was like, well, who did you bleed out for? Who did you care so much about? Maybe that's where all your credit is. And you just feel that I should be so grateful. But I'd only be grateful if you gave a shit about like an angel that's number one. Because I'm the god of the biggest and the best, the number oneers. But from my powers, I don't see a lot of number ones connected to you, much less that you bled out about something. And he was like, but I felt like I was like bleeding out. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, but like, I don't know like your concept of what you're saying. And he was like, but you're the creator. I was like, all right, buddy. I'm an arrogant bitch. I died to get back to my title. I don't want to give a shit about anything except what I am the god of, which is the best ones. But okay, let me look into your powers. Let me look into your brain. Let me figure out what you're so pissed about. So I looked through his soul, looked through his brain, and I did find out where he felt he was bleeding out over a cause or a good belief. And what he was doing was horrifying, actually. He had joined with gods that became murder happy. And he was exacerbating and draining his powers, helping murder happy gods and more do good deeds. So he's actually one of the bigger creators of the nightmare of the destruction of heavens and more, and destruction of gods and more. And I didn't have the heart to tell him, so I went and got a total evil bastard to tell him all about his bleeding out massive skills and how he actually was he was bleeding out to worship and serve murder happy gods. And it's all given to 666 and nightmare bad endings. I felt bad because it was like he really believed he was good. So I thought, all you did was contribute to crime. So I checked to see if he was really that stupid. Because I thought, well, if you're that stupid, maybe some court, some gods will talk about, disability, retardation or something in court. And he'll get a lot of sad credit or something. But I don't think he will. These gods were pretty much bragging that they were sadistic, sickening. They loved cruelty, suffering. Like, why would you bleed out over people that are pretty much telling you they're murderers without showing you their murdered, victim? Sometimes life is sad. And you guys are going to pick through life and find out life is so sad sometimes. The United States and Dubai, I hear, got tons of people to turn into like the follower or worshiper overload of the cult. And tons of people bowed down to the United States and Dubai and served them like somebody would serve a cult, and gave their whole life and death to 2 countries full of human whack job, murder happy weirdos. And they went to gods and found out, well, yeah, but it would all go to 666. You're worshiping and serving the Antichrist. So, you're going to find out a lot of things about a lot of things. But bad is just bad. So, like, stay away from it. But, you guys are being empowered and smart. You're finding out everything through my queen, and gods that are the best. So you always ask me or my queen, gods and angels and stuff. Like, you guys are the most empowered, the smartest. You guys are doing it right to the best extent that can be done. So you guys will probably find out everything there is to find out and do the best you guys can do. All I can say is good luck.